Vishali ma'am, shall we start? Vishali ma'am, you are on mute mode.
Ma'am, shall we start?
Vishali, I think it's already 5:05.
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
begin.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, respected principal, ma'am, principals of sister branches, vice principal, ma'am, HMs, and my dear colleague. I welcome you all in today's webinar. On behalf of all mathematics teachers, I can tell that teaching mathematics is a very joyful process. But is learning mathematics equally joyful for students? Today, we will ponder upon this question and try to find how we can make mathematics teaching joyful for everyone. The National Education Policy proposed that mathematics should be visualized as the vehicle to train a child for thinking, reasoning, analyzing, and articulate logically. The objective of school mathematics curriculum is to provide students the opportunities to be equipped with important mathematics needed for educational, professional, and social choices. By learning mathematics, students must be able to develop logical thinking and reasoning. They should be able to give an effective analysis and solution to the problem in hand. However, we are far-fetched from the achievements of these objectives. Various educational surveys and achievement data over the years shows that learning achievement of children in various subjects, especially mathematics, are not up to the mark. You will be surprised to know that according to ASER 2018, around 56% of students in class 8 can't divide a 3-digit number with a single 1 digit. 72% students in class 5th can't do division at all, and 70% of class 3rd students are not able to do any subtractions. Such startling numbers shows that we are lacking somewhere. There is a constant fear of mathematics among students. 75 million students in India suffer from maths phobia. Many students in our schools even today show displeasure towards the learning of mathematics. All these numbers tells us that we need to change what we have been doing. Let this data work as motivation to bring about revolution in our mathematics classroom. Now, I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Anita Verma, to take this discussion further.
Many thanks, Vishali ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin, I would like you to do a small activity. What you need to do, observe the things around you and relate yourself with the number or a shape with reason. You are requested to share a reason for your choice in the chat box. Yes. I want everyone to participate. Yes. Okay, Mukul ma'am said 10. Okay. Yes, Smriti ma'am, you want to share something?
Well, yes, Anita, ma'am. I would like to relate myself with a number, but the reason is so long, that I want, hardly 20 seconds of yours, if it's okay.
Yes, ma'am, you can share, please.
I relate myself with 6 number, and the
Okay.
reason to it is because, when I add up my date of birth, my month of birth,
Okay.
and year of birth, it comes out to 6. So actually a very good question.
Okay, thank
And my husband's birth date also comes out to be 6.
you.
And
Okay.
my eldest son is also born on 6th.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So it's quite a coincidence, but I would relate myself with 6th number.
Okay, ma'am. Well
And I
responded.
wish to be like number 1,
Yes, ma'am. For sure. Yes, Rashi ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Rashi ma'am, you want to share something? You have chosen star. Yes, good choice, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, And yes, ma'am, as you must have read it from the chat box.
Okay.
I want to choose the shape star because just like they shine and brighten up the night sky, I get inspired from them, and I too want to light up the world of children and by teaching and
Okay,
learning from
excellent
them.
choice, ma'am. Rashi, ma'am. Well done. So I made you all to do this activity to make you experience the excitement that the students feel when they are taught through activities. You know, when we do activities, we are such activities, there is two-way communication. They tend to visualize better. So a good teacher is the one who make learning fun. We are the one who can make classes insightful and enjoyable for children. Even learning maths can be fun if we include real life examples while we are teaching. You know, that help the students to understand better. So when we join school, we get curriculum. All same subject teachers get a pre-designed curriculum, yet each teacher in their own unique style they use to teach and make classroom interesting. So you can see the picture over the slide. Look at the picture over here. Here is a teacher and a child. What you can observe by looking at the child? Can anyone share? Yes. I request everyone to participate. Yes. Okay. A burden child. Yes. Anyone else? Okay, Prabhat sir, burden. Okay. Homework. Okay, Swati ma'am. Okay, overburden. Yes. So yes, the child is overburdened. Now, this is how children feel when they don't like a subject or find too tough to comprehend. Here, our role is important. We as a teacher can lighten their burden. Yes, I can see so many teachers are writing overburden. Yes, the responsibility lies in our hand. Whether to make a child feel like the one you can see on the left hand side and the right hand side, the child is jumping, happy. Yes, Samna ma'am, thank you so much for sharing your views. And so let's go ahead and do some hand-on activities and make math classes, interesting and live. So what you need a paper strip. You can see a paper strip, parallel paper strip. Let's learn how to make different polygons. As all teachers are there, I can see many teachers, they have the paper strip. I request everyone to switch on their camera and please do this activity with me. Yes. First, what you need to put a knot, or one knot only, this way. Yes. Yes. I can see teachers are doing with me, very good. Yes. Just pull both the ends slightly. Yes. Here you can see a knot which is showing a five-sided figure. You can see the loose part, the loose open ends, you can cut it with a scissor or just fold it. Just fold it like this and you can see, yes, Rashi ma'am, yes, Niti ma'am is also trying, very good. Yes, you can see the pentagon, it has 5 sides. You can explain students the vertices. Further in higher classes, you can explain about angles. So we can make interesting classes. You can tell students to paste different polygons in their notebook. Yes, Monica ma'am, I can see you're doing very nicely. Yes. Can you show me the pentagon? Yes. I request everyone to pin Rashi ma'am and Monica ma'am also. They have made a very beautiful pentagon. So similarly, yes, very good ma'am, and thank you for doing this. And with the same strip, what you need a little bit bigger strip, longer strip. You need to put only 2 knots. There you will get a septagon, 7-sided. So we can make any odd number-sided figure just with one strip. We will get 5-sided figures, 7, 9, and 11 this way. So what you need first, you need to put 1 knot this way. And just put your hand down here. And the other end, you need to bring it like this. You can see, you need a flat surface. I'm also doing, I request everyone to participate. And just pull both the ends like the same procedure as you have done with the pentagon. Same with the septagon, only with 2 knots you can make, yes. What you need a black pen or any pen which is available right now. just darken the sides. Darken the sides. I'm also doing. Yes, yes, very good. Yes, this way I can highlight the sides, and then the open end. The open end you can help with the scissor. You can cut it down, or I will just fold it at the back. Yes, very good. So you can see my septagon. You can count the sides. 7-sided septagon. Yes. Anyone want to share the figure? Yes, if you have done. With the 2 knots, you can make septagon. Similarly, with the 3 knots, you can make nonagon. So if you look around, we are surrounded by different polygons. So can anyone share some polygon around you? You can see different shapes, rectangle, square. Ask children also, look around and see where you can see different polygons in the class. Yes, anyone? Please, you can write your answer in the chat box. Yes, door. Okay, Rashi ma'am. Ruchika Khanna, whiteboard. Very good example. Monica ma'am, laptop screen. Yes, it is a rectangular. Okay. Tiles. Shubha ma'am, very good. Squared tiles. Yes, furniture. Dining table. Mobile phone. Yes, mobile phone. Table. Yes, very good. Very good. And thank you for sharing. Smartphone. Very good, Archana Dharma. Thank you for participating. So we can see different shapes, different, rectangle, quadrilateral, septagon, hexagonal. We can explain. Further, we can, extend this activity and tell students to see the chair. It has square shape, tiles, as Archana ma'am said. You can tell students traffic signal if you see. Stop sign. If you see stop sign, it has 8 sides. Means it is hexagon. Starfish, if you can give the example in the class, starfish, it has 10 sides, decagon. So this way you can, make classes interactive, interesting and live. So let's move on to the next activity, fraction. What you need is 2, circles of same size. Here, the small kids, class 1 and 2, this is very, interesting exercise or activity of fraction just for during, when you introduce the chapter, you can do this activity. So this way you need to cut it and just interlock both the circles like this so that they, interlock and slide over it. Yes. So this way you can show different fractions. See, you can see it is half shaded. I have just written 1/4, 1/4. You can tell it is half shaded. 2/4, 2 out of 4. So you can explain this is half, means 1/2. You can explain fraction. Further, with the help of this activity, you can explain equivalent fractions, ascending, descending. Comparison of fractions you can do. You can see the slide. You can, compare the fractions during this activity when you are doing. So, yes. So these hands-on tool will reinforce the concept of fraction in the class. Class become very, interesting and students will learn and enjoy it very much. So let's move on to the next very interesting one of my favorite topic, that is angles. When we are teaching angles, what we show different types of angles, right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle. So this way we will show, I have done some small activity. I have used these, sticks. You can see it is easily available. And I have used, you can use newspaper also, or an origami sheet also you can also use. This way you can show different angles like acute angle, right angle, acute angle, straight angle, reflex angle, and complete angle. 360-degree, which is called full angle. So you can make this beautiful crafts. You can integrate with art and tell the students to taste different angles. You can see the slide in their notebook or any A4 size sheet and make their notebooks beautiful and creative. So if you look around, we are surrounded by angles also, different types of angles. So I want everyone to participate. Those who have not responded till now, there you can see angles around you. You can ask these types of questions in the class. You can tell with the different, body posture also, different acute angle like this, right angle. You can do such activities in the class also. to reinforce the concept of angles. Yes, Pooja ma'am, corners of the room, arms of the clock, very good. Okay, chair, very good. Chair also makes an angle, yes. Anyone can unmute and speak, yes. Anyone? Okay, book, yes. If I talk about a pen, pen is also making an angle. Can anyone say the tip of a pen is making an angle? Yes, which angle? It is an acute angle. Yes. If I talk about the stapler, it is also making an angle. Yes. Dina ma'am, good. Acute angle. Well responded.
Holding
Open
the
laptop.
leg.
Open laptop.
Holding holding your legs, holding your arm.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Very good examples.
Branches of a tree.
Door can also be used to explain angles. Manorma ma'am, very well said. Opening of door, yes, very good example of opening of door. As everyone shared about clock, ice cream cone, edge of the ruler, doors, yes. Branches of tree, yes, very good Rashi ma'am. Yes, different branches showing different types of angle. Very good example, Rashi ma'am. So further we can, tell students like engineer, architects also uses angles to, make the design of the roads, buildings. Okay, Caesar, very good example, Archana ma'am, Caesar, yes. Flyer, yes, very good.
Yawning.
Yawning, yes. Athletes use angles to enhance their performance. That is also an example. Carpenters also uses an angle, chair, table when they are building, sofas. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you for participating. Now, here's another way of learning and making maths fun that my dear colleague Ruchika ma'am will share with you all. Over to you, Ruchika ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Anita ma'am. A very good evening to everyone. What we learn with joy, we never forget. Mathematics in itself is a joyful subject, as there is nothing that we need to memorize. It is just a conceptual subject. Once we understand the concept, our work becomes very easy. So, while teaching mathematics, a teacher should follow the following strategies. A teacher should create an effective class opening. As discussed earlier, ma'am has already discussed that she should introduce the topic in a very attractive manner so that the child becomes very happy and curious that a child is going to learn something new. A teacher should also use multiple ways to explain a topic so that the child becomes happy and each child has a different way of understanding. They can understand the topic very easily. Very importantly, the application of the topic should be explained. Why? Because it is very important when we are explaining the application and the child is relating himself with the environment, they become very happy. Then it is also very important that we should add a spice to our project. Means when we are taking a topic, we should use some brain teasers in it so that when we are using brain teasers, the child becomes very interesting to solve them. So our class definitely becomes very interesting. Lastly, we should summarize the topic, evaluate what we have taught, and finish up the class by giving a task to the students. So, my friend Anita ma'am has very well explained that how using activities we can create the interest of the child in the class. Now I'll be focusing upon that how we can use various brain teasers to make the class interesting. Let's start with the concept of subtraction. Suppose a question is being given to the students that they have to subtract a number from 100,000, 10,000 and so on. See, these types of examples shall only be discussed after explaining the topic because they help the child just to evaluate what they have done that is correct. So after that, we can tell the basic rule, a very simple rules by which the children can identify whether they have done it correct or not. And there's just one step that we need to remember. And that says that subtract all the digits from the 9 and the last one from 10. Let's see how we'll be obtaining our answer. Let's subtract all the digits from 9. So we'll be getting it. And the last one from 10. So first I did 9 minus 6 will give me 3. 9 minus 2 gives me 7. 9 minus 8 gives me 1. And the last digit subtracted from 10 gives me 5. So see, ultimately, if we would have given this question to our child, the child would have taken at least 2 to 3 minutes to solve it. First, they will be penning it down and doing it. But when we tell this shortcut trick, the child can do it very easily. And most of the children, they become very happy then when they get their answers quick. And they can find out on their own whether the answer is correct or not. So I guess it was very easy and you all have understood just one small rule that we need to remember. So let's try to find out how we'll be able to solve our next question. Suppose we need to subtract 982 from 1000. Let me see who's the first one to solve it. It's very easy. Just remember one rule. Subtract all the digits from the 9 and the last one from 10. Let's try to find out. Wow, Arpita ma'am, Pooja ma'am, very nice, very quick. I said
18.
subtract all digits from 9. Very good. Thank you so much, sir. And the last from 10. So here we go. We subtracted the first digit from 9 and we got the answer as 0. Second digit from 9, we got 1. And the last digit from 10, so we got 8. So see how easily we got our answer, that is 18. Just one rule and hardly 2 to 3 seconds to obtain our answer. But again, I repeat that these tricks should be discussed at the end of the chapter so that the students can verify their answer. Okay, so after going from subtraction, let's move on to some multiplication. We all know that Vedic maths helps the person to solve mathematical problems at least 10 to 15 times faster than our practical methods. It is a magical tool and increases the concentration of the students. A student can always use this method to verify their answers. So let's see some of the tricks of multiplication. Suppose, before introducing this trick, if I give you a question that you need to multiply 35 by 35, can you all do? Let's see that how much time do we take to multiply 35 by 35. Very quick, Pooja ma'am.
1225.
Rani ma'am. Thank you so much, Govind sir. So means, see, we all were able to do it. The teachers who are able to do it so quickly. This means that they master the art that how we can solve it quickly. And that technique is through Vedic maths. I'll be explaining you all how can we do it quickly. There is just a two-step rule that needs to be followed. The first step says that multiply the ones digit with the ones digit. So when we multiply ones digit by ones digit over here, we get 25. Then the tens digit that is left, multiply it with its successor. The successor means the next number that follows it. So 3 multiplied by 4 will give me 12. So see how easily such a big calculation, which else would have taken some time, few minutes at least, has been solved in just 2 steps. So we can say hardly 2 seconds. So our answer over here is 1225. So let's again have a practice for one more question and let's try to find out the answer. If I have 75 multiplied by 75, let's see what will be the answer. Very good, Rani ma'am. Wow, so quick. So see how easily and how quickly, thank you so much, Govind sir, how quickly we have calculated our answer. Just first step, multiply ones digit by ones digit, we get 25. Multiply tens digit by the tens digit. Multiply tens digit with its successor and you get 56. And just combine both the answers. So you get the answer as 5625, that is 5625. Let's see one more trick for solving multiplication. Suppose we have to multiply the numbers which are little less than the base number. Base number can be any number, let's say 10, 100, 1000, 10,000. Any base number we can take and just in 3 steps we'll be able to obtain our answer. Suppose we have a question that we have to multiply 93 by 95. So our first step says that subtract both the numbers from 100. So if I subtract both the numbers from 100, I get 100 minus 93, that is 7. 100 minus 95, that is 5. Second step says multiply the differences that we have obtained to get the last two digit of the numbers. So we get 35, 7 multiplied by 5. And the third step says that we have to cross subtract the numbers. Means we can do 93 minus 5 or do 95 minus 7. Both will give you the same answer, that is 88. So when we combine both these things, we get 8,835, which will be our answer. So see, again in 3 steps and we get our answer so quickly. Else it used to be a difficult question for the students that they need to solve such a long multiplication. So these kinds of methods can always be used to verify our answers, whether we are doing it correct or not. So let's have one more example and a challenge. Let's see who can do it quickly. Let's suppose we have to multiply 82 by 99. I'll give you the hints to do it. First step, subtract both the numbers from 100. Second step, just find the product of the differences. Third step, just cross subtract them. Very good. I could see many of the teachers have done it so quickly. Very nice for your responses and thanks a ton. So see, in just 3 small steps, we have obtained our answer so easily. So see, here the basic idea when I was explaining it is that we should not always wait for the answers from the students. While poking a question, we can always give them the hints. Like I have just given that I have repeated the steps. So we can just repeat the steps to get our answer. Because it is very important in today's era, our students, our education has to be child-centered. So the teacher only acts as a facilitator who will guide the students. The teacher is not the dictator who is just poking for the answers, but we have to guide the students to jump to the answers. So the answer that we obtained over here is 8,118. Okay, now after going from numbers, let's move to some geometry part and see how can we make our geometry also understanding. Suppose we have introduced the topic in our class. We have taught the students about triangles. We have told we have explained it by using various methods. Now we want to create some interest in the class. We can ask the students to find out how many triangles they can see in their surroundings. Like you may see there is a picture. We can give this picture and ask the students to find out the triangles. Or we can also give some kind of brain teasers like, I give a triangle to the student which is divided into various parts and I ask them to find out how many triangles are hidden in it. Can you all try how many triangles are hidden in this figure? I give you a hint before you answer that just see it's not a single triangles that are there. Rashi ma'am says 5. Well tried ma'am. Ridhima ma'am also says 5. Okay, now let me give you a hint and then try to find out. You may see that first triangle is there. Then even 2 triangles can combine to form a triangle. You can even combine 3 triangles to form a triangle. And the 4th triangle complete is also a triangle. Very well said. So now after giving the hints, you can see that correct answers have started coming out. The total number of triangles are 10. Not all are correct, but many of you are correct. Thank you so much. So we may see a shortcut method how we can find out the number of triangles over here. Just make them, just divide the triangles into various parts and number the parts into how many parts the triangle has been divided. It has been divided into 1, 2, 3 and 4 parts. Now just add all these digits. If we add 1 plus 2, we get 3, 3 plus 3, 6 and 6 plus 4 gives me 10. So the answer to this question will be 10. But while telling this rule, we need to remember that all these triangles should share the common base. The baseline should be common and even the vertex should be common for it. Then we can get our answer by just adding the number of digits that we have written. So now let's have one question and let's see if you have understood the concept. Try to find out how many triangles are there in this figure. Any one of you? Manisha ma'am says 15, very quick.
15.
Govind sir says 15, very nice.
15.
Absolutely. The number of triangles in this figure are 15 as the figure has been divided into 5 parts. So these were little tricks by which we can make our class interesting and we can engage our students to just participate in our class. And we know that our students become very happy when they get the correct answers. So these are little ways by which we can just tell them and they can take part in the class and go to their answers. So now by this, I shall come to an end, but no. As I said that before ending up, we should give a question to our child so that the child thinks upon it, and before coming to the next class, they try to find out the answer to it. So I have a little brain tickler for you. If time permits, we'll be discussing it. You have to use 3 times 3 and using any mathematical operator, try to find out the numbers from 0 to 9. Means use 3 times and try to obtain numbers from 0 to 9. I will give you one small hint. Let's say I have to find a number 9. I can obtain 9 by just using the simplest mathematical operator, that is addition. Add 3 times, we'll get 9. We can also get it by find the cube of 3 and divide it by 3. Even then we'll get 9 as the answer. There is another way that we can find the factorial of 3 and add 3 to it. So again, we'll be getting the answer as 9. So we should always remember, and even it is stated by National Education Policy 2020, that it aims in making India a global knowledge superpower, where we teachers are just the facilitator who will guide to our children to come to the correct solution. So like this, we should always give our students ideas how they can come to a solution, and we should accept the answers that they are giving us and correct them if needed. With this, I come to an end and I invite my colleague, Ms. Mukul ma'am, to take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good evening to one and all. Numbers have ruled the world and will always do. Today, we are going to learn about a mathematical legacy that has been around us for centuries and will go on for the time to come. If that sounds interesting, fasten your seatbelts because we are going to go back in time and learn how to do some magic. Let's embark on a journey with Donald Duck, our favorite cartoon character, into the world of mathemagic, a world where we can learn how to do magic with maths. Ready, steady, and go. We can see? Yes. He's very curious as he entered into the world of numbers. Oh yes, now they are playing tic-tac-toe. He's having fun. Okay. Now, Donald Duck has come to the land of numbers and is crossing the river over to our land. I hope you all enjoyed that short video. Presenting to you the magic square. As the name suggests, magic square is a square full of magic. It has the same sum of all the rows, columns, and diagonals. The sum is called a magic number for that particular square. See on the right side, the numbers from 1 to 16 are rearranged to get the same sum of 34. I hope you have noticed, and let's proceed further. Before we learn how to make one, any guesses on how long back this was found? It was found in 2800 BC. Yes, that's right. The story behind the discovery of a magic square is very interesting. The legend has it that this was discovered in the ancient Chinese culture. The people in the part of China were troubled due to the recurring floods. They thought the only way to make the river god happy was to make a sacrifice. Every time there was a flood, a turtle used to appear magically and walk around the sacrifice. One day, a small child noticed a pattern on the back of the turtle. Can you guess what it was? Yes, you are right. We can see the pattern there. It was the sum total of all the numbers on the turtle's back was 15. And from then on, the villagers started sacrificing 15 things to make the river god happy. This is why it is considered auspicious in Feng Shui and even used today in artifacts like the one you can see on the screen. Does it look familiar? So today we are moving from Vedic maths to Feng Shui. Let us proceed further. Now that we all know the fascinating history behind the magic square, I'm sure you all must be super excited to learn how to make one. Please grab a piece of paper and a pencil. I'll wait for a few seconds. Now let's get ready to perform the magic, and we would be learning how to make a 3x3 magic square in today's session. Let's build a 3x3 magic square. Okay, it's a very, very rule-based activity. All of you are requested to make a matrix 3x3 as shown. Okay. Please go ahead, everybody. Has everyone made this matrix? Can I proceed further? Can I proceed? Any responses?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Arpita ma'am. Thank you, Archana ma'am. That's good. That's refreshing.
Yes.
Okay, let us proceed now. The second rule mentioned here says, extend the middle rows on each side like this. Just extend the middle rows. Perfect. That will do. Now we have to populate the numbers from 1 to 9. We'll always start from this cell. Yes, ma'am. 1,
Yes, ma'am.
2, 3, 4. The rule about putting the next number is the next number or the consecutive number always goes to the top right cell. Always from here to the top right cell, from 4 top right cell. This is how we proceed to populate the numbers. Once all the numbers have been filled from 1 to 9, we have reached to the fourth rule. What does it say? Move all the numbers in the outer boxes to diametrically opposite boxes. I'll repeat. Move all the numbers in the outer boxes to diametrically opposite boxes. So this is how the bunny is going to jump over the hat and create the magic. Let us proceed. Yes. 3 from here has come here. Yes. 1 from the outer cell here comes here. Beautiful. Some more magic left to be done. Of course, 7 comes here. And then 9 from here comes here. So the magic square is ready, in which 2, 7, 6 forms the top row. 9, 5, 1 forms the middle row, 4, 3, 8 forms the bottom row. 2, 9, 4, again the same total we will get. The magic number is 15. 7, 5, 3 will again have the same total, followed by 6, 1 and 8. It will also have the same total. There are 2 diagonals, 2, 5, 8, 15. Similarly, 4, 5, 6, 15. Now, what do we do with the extra cells, which we had drawn earlier? They have to be either erased or hidden. So the magic square is ready. Let us proceed further. This is another example in which I have started making this magic square from 100. Have a look. So we should not feel that it always starts with a particular number. We can start with any number. The only thing is the numbers have to be consecutive in order. See, 100 from here has come here. Beautiful. Okay. 102 from the outer cell has come here. Wow. 108 from here has come here, and the magic square is ready. Wow. I believe everybody enjoyed it. Let us move on to the next square. Next slide. Well, I'm going to share a secret to empower each one of us here. I will demonstrate to you all how to use the magic square to spin up a very interesting activity for engaging a group of students and also helping them become friends with numbers. Just think of any consecutive numbers and fill them in the diagonal. I hope everybody has drawn another magic square, another matrix. I'll wait for 2 seconds. Please, I request every one of you to draw a matrix. All done? Should we proceed? Good to go? Anybody? Yes, thank you so much, Arpita ma'am. Thank you, Manisha ma'am. Let us proceed now. Okay. Hold on to your seat belts. We'll proceed with that. Okay. So we start with filling up any numbers. Today I chose 25. 26 and 27. We'll always fill up this diagonal. And yes, ma'am, 25 plus 26 plus 27 is 78. So the magic number for this particular magic square is 78. Now, will the children be able to complete this? No. Why? Because it is too open-ended and it may seem very tedious for a child to complete it. So we will have to give them one more hint. Okay. Can anybody tell me what number will come in the cell marked as A? Anybody? Just write your answers in the chat box. Go ahead, make a guess. Any number? Maybe 23, okay. 28, sounds good. 23, okay, 23. Okay, let me share. Good job, perfect, bahut badhiya. Let me share a secret. This number, this cell will always have a number 3 less than this number. Let us see how. Sorry, this number, the cell, the top right cell, it will always have a number which is 4 less than this number. So here we have 23. 27 minus 4 will give us 23. You were right. Many of you were right, actually, in fact. Now, another question. Which number is going to occupy the cell marked as C?
29.
Wow, that's good. Kalpana ma'am. And how did you do that?
Ma'am, actually, whatever you say in earlier, I make the magic square and extend the middle sides, and then the given number is 25, 26, and 27. I am just decreasing order. I fill the numbers in hidden part is 24, 23, and 22, and in below side I fill that 28, 29, and 30. And then I
Okay.
cross it and I fill all the puzzle.
Ma'am, that was awesome. That was awesome. And I'm so, so grateful to you. There's another option. Let me share a cheat code. Today's kids are very fond of cheat codes. So the cheat code is this number, this cell termed as C will always have 2 more than this. This will always have 4 less than this, and this will always have 2 more than this. So we'll have 29. There is another option also how to find. 23 plus 26 gives us 49. So 49, then we subtract 49 from 78, we get 29. But ma'am, you have done a beautiful job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Let us populate the other cells. Going by the same principle, the principle says sum of all the rows, say here, 27 plus 23, 50. So 78 minus 50, 28. That is how we are populating it. 23 plus 25 is 48. 78 minus 48 is 30. Once we are able to fill the 2 cells, the one blank cell becomes very easy to fill it up. Same here, 29 plus 25, subtract it from 78 and you will get this number. Okay, this exercise can also be used by the teachers who are engaged with this teaching senior classes. How? This magic square can be used to fill integers as well as decimals. Let us proceed to see how. Okay, we are going to do an activity here to develop the critical thinking and thinking out of the box for the children. Please create one more matrix. I would request everyone to create one more matrix, please. Once everybody is done, I'll proceed with your due permission. Are we good to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Kalpana ma'am, thank you. Thank you so much, Pradeep. Thank you so much. Now that the magic square is ready, suppose a teacher wants to, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Niktika ma'am. Thank you, Ruchika ma'am. Okay, suppose a teacher wants to start with writing the number 2 in the middle cell. Let us see what happens. Just fill this number 2. What happens? We get 1 here and 3 here. Perfect, that is done. Now the $1 million question is, which number will come in this cell marked as A? The question is open to all. Please participate. The magic number is 6. It can be seen 1 plus 2 plus 3. I'm waiting for, oh wow, Ruchika Gupta ma'am, beautiful. Arpita Singh ma'am, yes, -1. Nitika Bhatia ma'am, yes, -1.
-1, ma'am.
-1.
Yes, -1. -1. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. How? -1? Because anybody would like to explain? You can.
3 minus
oh
4.
wow.
I'm doing the same trick that previously done. I'm putting
Okay.
the negative
3 minus 4.
0 less than -1, then minus. In below.
Okay, going backwards. Wow, that is beautiful. Well
1
explained, ma'am.
minus 2 is -1, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. 3 minus 4 will give us -1, and that is how we can introduce integers. Just one last thing. Which number would be filled in the cell marked as B again?
Where is C?
I shared the secret last time, the cheat code that can be used.
C is not visible, ma'am, where it is.
Sorry, B.
B is 5.
My apologies.
5.
Yes, B is 5.
5.
Beautiful. How
5.
5? 3 plus 2. Very simple. 3 plus 2. Once the two diagonals are ready, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once the two diagonals are ready, it becomes very easy to populate the other cells. Right? Let us proceed and fill up all the cells here. Similar kind of activity can be undertaken with decimals also. I'm sure you people enjoyed it. Did you all enjoy this activity?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And,
Certainly.
and would you like to do it in your classes later on
Yes.
with your children? Okay.
Yes.
That is
Definitely.
why, okay, that is why Magic Square is so magical. It is empowering both for the students as well as the teachers. We all need to ensure that we make students fall in love with maths or at least stop fearing it. This will definitely help you boost their enthusiasm to play around with numbers. Feel free to reach out to me if you get stuck anywhere while practicing. And this is for today. Thanks everyone for your participation. Now I would invite my colleague, Mr. Prabhat Mishra, to take over from here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukul ma'am. As discussed by my colleagues, objective of teaching mathematics shall not be just to complete content exercise given in the textbook. Focus shall be given on developing thinking and analytical skills as well to keep the larger perspective in front of the learner. Objectives. By this session, we'll try to discuss and identify the difficult concepts in mathematics. We will be able to explore teaching, learning strategies for handling difficult concepts. And as we all know, every learner is unique and one size doesn't fit all. So we will try to explore various daily life objects, things which will help students in handling difficult concepts and which will help us also in explaining the difficult concepts. Also, I request you all to share your valuable insight and wide experience so that we can learn from each other. Let us come to the very first thing. Students, we have seen that face problem in reading and writing 5-digit numbers or more than numbers having more than 5 digits, especially when the digits is repeated more than once. For example, I have written a number here. If any one of you can unmute and tell me the number name, I'm waiting for your response. I know it will take time. Anyone? Yes, so it becomes difficult. Very correct, Ruchika Khanna ma'am. Very correct. So we all have seen that it takes time. It's too long. We have to count and it becomes difficult. And sometimes students also do the mistake. So now let me rewrite the same number again. And this time, separating the numbers or the digits by placing the comma in periods. You will find it easier to read and write the numbers when it is separated in periods. As we can see now, the numbers or the digits in the number are separated in periods and we can easily visualize or find out the number name. That's great, Rashi ma'am, and many of you are responding now. Thank you. Let us move to the next. So, as per the National Curriculum Framework 2005, mathematization of the mind is the main goal of teaching mathematics to children in school. That means the child should be able to see mathematics in every activity. I have tried to relate all the concepts with daily life examples, and there will be many more. I have mentioned a few over here. If we see the newspaper, in all the large numbers, periods are divided with the commas. These are the cutouts from the newspapers which I found on yesterday. So as you can see, all the numbers are separated with the commas. Periods are separated with the commas. So we have to emphasize upon it. Next, comparing decimals. Students often find it difficult to compare decimals. We have written a few decimals where students do mistake while comparing the decimals. Many a times, students compare the decimal by counting the number of digits in the decimal number. And they do so because we have adopted this method while comparing the whole numbers. We tell the students that the number having more digits is actually larger. For example, student write 0.5 less than 0.126 as 0.126 contains 3 digits after the decimal, but 0.5 contains only 1 digit. So we need to rethink and change our pedagogy. So we have to change our pedagogy and we can make practice of changing decimals into like decimals before comparing them. so that they have equal number of digits after. Also, geometrical representation of decimal can help the student to understand quantum of part represented through decimals. Using place value chart will also prevent mistakes because geometrical representation sometimes becomes more complicated and time consuming. Addition and subtraction of decimals. Students do error in addition and subtraction of decimals. These calculation errors occurs because of wrong alignment of digits in decimal numbers. For example, student may write the sum of 0.024 plus 12.42 as 12.66 instead of 12.444. So we have to emphasize on writing the numbers in as per their place values. We cannot add two digits with different place values. So we have to emphasize upon writing the numbers in correct place values. Let us discuss the next. This is a real life example which I have faced and I have experienced actually. Rahul is a 10-year-old boy. His father told him to go to the nearest hardware store. Please listen carefully and place the order for different length of curtain rods. Measure of the curtain rod was given by his father and the measures are 5 feet and 6 inch, 7 feet and 9 inches, 8 feet and 5 inches. The person at the hardware store took his order and gave him the bill as shown. And he calculated the total length of the rod as 5.6 feet, 7.9 feet and 8.5 feet. And total was 22 feet. So, and he calculated the amount for the steel rod as 4,400 because the rate of steel rod was rupees 200 per feet. Can you find out any mistake in this? You can unmute and answer. The slide is visible to you. If you can find out any error in this. Yes, ma'am.
He doesn't know how many inches foot is exactly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Very well observed. Anyone else?
Total is wrong.
Yes, sir.
It is not 22 feet.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir. Because 0.6 inches will not be equal to 6 inches because 1 feet is equals to 12 inches. So we cannot write 6 inches as 0.6 feet. So this is wrong. And the actual length of the steel rod purchased by the Rahul should be 21.67. And this is a real example which I has faced because the person at the hardware store was used to write like this. So we have to, show the real life application where the child can relate and can be aware so that he cannot be befooled. Okay? And the actual bill should be 4,333. Let us come to the next concept. Angles. Angles with larger space is considered larger by the students. Angles normally defined as the figure formed by the two rays called the arms of the angles and sharing common endpoint which we call vertex. So there is some problem with this definition. Angle should be defined as the measure of rotation, as shown by Anita ma'am also while explaining the fractions. So we can use these rotation or we can define angles as the measure of rotation to explain this concept. Student can be given the cutouts of different size of same angle and further can be asked to compare the angles by developing the by overlapping the corner points. Various daily life objects can be used to show the angles, like school building itself can be used as a learning aid, like doors, windows, clocks can be used to show the rotation and explain the concept. Like you also have mentioned various examples like our hands, fingers, scissors, we can show them that angle is actually the measure of rotation. Let us come to the next. Triangles. In primary students, they often misunderstood that the base of the triangle should be horizontal line. This happens because we also always draw the triangles with horizontal base. And students observe us very minutely. So what can be the remedial strategy for this? Student observe us very minutely. So we should draw the triangles of different orientation every time. We can use also the cutouts of various triangles. We can plan various 10-gram activities, as you can see in the pictures, that we can use these 10-gram activities or triangles to frame different shapes. Coming to the next, division by zero. We'll be discussing few properties of division, and I will request you to utilize the chat box to answer. First property, if a number is divided by itself, then the quotient will be
1.
Yes, correct. Thank you so much. It will be 1. Yes. When 0 is divided by any number, then the quotient will be
0.
correct. You all are correct. I'm giving I'm getting the response so quickly. Thank you. Then if any number is divided by 0, then
Is not defined.
Not possible.
not possible.
Not defined.
I'm giving next answers over here. Infinity, not defined. Okay. So division by 0 is not possible or not defined. This is correct. Under the limits, we define division by 0 as as the number or the denominator approaches 0, we write it as infinite. So you all are correct over here. Now let us come to the next slide. Division by 0, we know that we just have learned 3 properties. Now I'm putting you a question, and this question was put up to me by a class 5 child. What if I divide 0 by 0?
Indeterminate form.
Indeterminate.
Yes, but the question came to me. I'm putting you all the points. As we have learned in the first property that if we divide any number by itself, then the quotient should be 1. So it should be 1. Because 0, I am dividing the number by itself. Also, it should be 0 because we have learned that if we divide 0 by any number, then the quotient should be 0. So it should be 0. Or it should be undefined because division by 0 is not possible. So we have learned 3 properties, and the child has asked me that what will be the answer over here. So we know that, as you have mentioned very correctly, that it is indeterminate. Now, as rightly said by my colleague Ruchika ma'am, finish the class with a task. So I'm leaving you with this question: why 0 by 0 is indeterminate? Just think and how you are going to explain this concept to a class 5 child, that why 0 by 0 is indeterminate. Can anyone tell me that why 0 divided by a number is 0? The property to which we have discussed in previous slide. How you are going to explain this concept in the classroom, if you can share your experience. Why 0 divided by any number is 0? I want to teach this concept to class 4 or 5 students.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
If there are 10 students in the class,
yes, sir.
I have 0 toffees in my hand.
Yes, sir.
I'm dividing 0 toffees into 10 students.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask the students how many toffees each one of you get.
Yes.
So the answer would be 0.
That's great, sir. I also use similar kind of examples to explain these concepts. So in this way, we can relate actually the real life situations. We can create real life situation and make the child understand and facilitate the learning. Next, as rightly said here, that the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So unlearning and relearning is very important. With this, I would like to invite Vaishali ma'am to throw some light how technology can be useful in facilitating the learning of mathematics. Over to you, Vaishali ma'am.
Thank you, Prabhat sir. So we all saw various pedagogies that can be used to make mathematics more interesting. Now, I would like to add some IT tools which can further improve the teaching learning process. So research studies have shown that the appropriate use of technology can transform the mathematics classroom into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the learner can develop a deeper understanding of the subject. Technology can greatly aid the process of mathematical exploration. The potential of computers and computer software should be exploited to make school mathematics enjoyable and meaningful. So the first software in this series is GeoGebra. We all must have heard about this. GeoGebra is a dynamic mathematics software for all levels of education that brings together all the different types of branches of mathematics. So we can design our own tasks and activities to enable students to make conjectures, and understand mathematical concepts. Now, to work offline with it, GeoGebra Classic 5 can be downloaded from the website www.geogebra.org. So if you go to this website, you will land on a page like this. We really don't need to sign in or create any account. We can straight away see here on the left hand side, there is an option of app downloads. You click there, and from you will get various options of GeoGebra as well. So you have to download GeoGebra Classic 5 because that is most user friendly, and it contains all the types of variations of GeoGebra. So you can also download the apps from Google Play Store or iOS App Store on the mobile phones for easy accessibility. Now we all understand that every time it might not be possible to create an applet using GeoGebra before the class. So no need to worry. We have lots and lots of ready-to-use resources on the websites already available for us. So to access them, simply when you log in and you reach this page, just click on the resources and you will land on a page like this. So as you can see, over 1 million free activities, simulations, exercises, lessons, and games for maths and science are available here. It has more than 1 million classroom resources mapped to various branches of mathematics, which can be used as they are, or they can be downloaded also. You can edit them and you can customize them according to your class. So I would like to show you this page. So as you can see here, once I clicked the resources, I reach a page like this. You can further see that they have already divided all the activities into subtopics for the branches of mathematics. There is arithmetic, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, probability, algebra, functions, and statistics. So you can use whatever activity you want to take up. You can put that name of the activity here, search it, and you will get various activities. For example, I was teaching angle sum property in my class the last time. So I put angle sum property here, and look, so many activities. You can show triangle exterior angle, you can show angle sum, you can show triangle angle sum theorem. I would like to show you one example also, how I used it in my class. So one of the most favorite activity is this, related to trigonometry. We all introduce trigonometry in class 10th, and we straight away tell our children that beta sine theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, cos theta is base upon hypotenuse, tan theta is perpendicular upon base. We tell them, and it's easy for us to understand, but I have seen and I have interacted with my children, and they tell me that it becomes really difficult for them to relate with all these things. So just before introducing trigonometry in your class, you can use this activity. Open it up, share it with the student, and tell them that if I actually fix this angle to any angle, not 0 degree or 45 degree or 30 degree, to any angle, and even if I increase or decrease the length of my right angle triangle, the ratio of perpendicular and hypotenuse is actually same. Show it to them. Before telling them that it is sine theta, show it to them that triangle, if I fix the base angle, the ratio will remain same. Similarly, show them that if I found the ratio of an adjacent side, that means base or hypotenuse, and if I fix the angle, even after changing the length of the triangle, doesn't matter what my triangles look like, the ratio remains same. The ratio of perpendicular and base remains same. After that, we can tell them that actually this ratio is called sine and theta represent the base angle. And we can change this base angle from 0 degree to 90 degree, and we can get various values of the ratio. So like this, it was just an example. I'm sure you can find out various other explanations and you can use it in a better way in your class. The only thing required is to explore as much as we can. Another software which can be used is Kahoot. Now, it is a very useful tool which can help in creating fun learning games in minutes. You can make a series of multiple choice questions and even jumble words here. And these quizzes can be used for quick revision or assessment, or in the beginning of lesson also to check the previous knowledge of your children. You can use them at the end of the lesson to see if they have grasped what you have taught to them. It's very easy to create a quiz on Kahoot. You can simply go to the website kahoot.com, sign up and make your account, and then you can click create and pick up a game type. So there are 4 game types available over there: multiple choice, discussions, surveys, and jumble words. So I'm sure in mathematics, multiple choice is the best way. Choose the options. You can add videos to your questions. You can add images to your questions and set up your correct answers. So no need to check, no need to assess. They will do it on their own and they will give you the final result. So minimum work from a teacher's side and maximum enjoyment for the students. There is a video. There are lots of videos available on YouTube where you can learn in 2 minutes how to make a quiz using Kahoot. And I can share this link with you all. You can go through it and you can see and learn. So at the end of this session, we have also kept one small quiz using Kahoot itself, where you can take the feel of the software. The next, my favorite, is Khan Academy. I'm really proud to say that we have been working with this software from last 2 years. And in our school, we are using Khan Academy as one of the tools to enhance the teaching learning process. Very easy to use. You can create your account, and as you can see, you can add your classes in the account. So it's a one-time process. Add your class and generate the login IDs and password, and your children can use the same login ID and password for the entire year. So you can assign them videos to watch. You can assign them small assessments to solve. You can use this as a homework. You can use it as flip learning. Tell them to watch a video and come prepared for the next class. So anything can be done, up to you how you use it, right? You can do it any way you want. So you might be thinking, you might ask me that why to use videos or why to use these assessment. I can take a Blackboard test. Yeah, you are right. You can do that. We all can do that. But I will say, why not? If I make my students visualize the concept using technology, isn't it better? If I can give assessments without thinking about making question papers or doing corrections, it will leave me with enough time to design my activities for the class and to give more time to the teaching learning process. So there are many such open resources online which are available. Only thing required is to go through them and explore. There is a list of activities, interesting activities by HBSC, which you can go and see and use in your classroom. Then we all have heard about Sri Arvind Gupta. He has a wonderful website where he tells you how to make toys and use those toys to explain a concept. So there are many toys for mathematics as well. Integrate it in your lesson plan, ask your children to make it and explain the concept. Then there is one software called Desmos.com. It can be used in higher classes for class 11th and 12th. We all know graphing calculators are very costly. No need to purchase it. You can go online and check this website out and put the function. You just have to put the function over there and the graph will appear. Show it to your students, make them visualize things, because visualization helps in retaining the concept. Visualization removes the fear. Visualization removes the abstractness from the subject. At the end, we should try to create a culture for mathematics learning. When we talk about mathematics, students visualize a boring classroom and a blackboard with numbers. So it should not happen. We should give them something to relate, something fun to relate with mathematics. Integrate your teaching with art, integrate it with other subjects, give them projects based on it. Even our national education policy is emphasizing on integrating all the subjects together and project-based learning. Organize maths fair in your schools and use maths lab as a tool. Make it so comfortable for students that they can learn from everything in your maths lab. Should be giving them some knowledge about some concept of mathematics. Organize assemblies. Celebrate special days like National Mathematics Day, Pi Approximation Day, Pi Day. Celebrate all these days so that students can have memories which they can relate with the word mathematics, fun memories which they can relate with the word mathematics. Now, if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. So if we keep on doing what we have been doing, there are no chances of improvement. We can never improve. I'm not saying that we will get successful in our first trial only. Of course, it will take time. It will take a lot of experience to integrate all the activities. But until we start doing it, we cannot actually get those results which we want. Those achievement reports, we have to change them. And for that, we have to change ourselves. We have to change our teaching learning process. At the end, I would like to invite Bukul ma'am to propose the vote of thanks.
In the end, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our principal ma'am, principal of the sister branches, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to explore, learn, and research new pedagogies. I would also like to thank Vice Principal ma'am, HMs, for guiding and supporting us all times to perform better and become our better version. I want to thank my colleagues, Miss Anita Verma, Miss Ruchika Khanna, Miss Vaishali Mittal, and Mr. Park Mishra, who worked tirelessly to ensure that this webinar is executed seamlessly and for making learning a joyful experience. I would be failing in my duty if I don't extend a special thanks to Ms. Arpita Singh for all the technical support. Above all, a big heartfelt thank you to all my colleagues and fellow learners for making this webinar interesting and interactive. Thank you once again. Goodbye till we meet again for another
No, it
workshop.
is not. It is not. Mukul, it is not goodbye.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
think
Thank you
I
till we
just
meet
want to-
again.
It is not. It is not a goodbye. I would like to thank.
Sorry, ma'am, I stand corrected.
It's not a goodbye. I would like to congratulate the primary school math teachers and the headmistress primary school for giving us such a delightful workshop. The insights were very great, and be it the activities chosen by the teachers, be it the brain puzzles chosen by the teachers, be it certain exercises chosen, and the digital tools, of course. It was an insightful workshop. It was the actual joy of learning mathematics. And I'm sure with these kind of learnings being introduced in the classroom, the students are going to be immensely benefited. And on this note, my dear teachers, you're doing a wonderful job and continue to do this wonderful job. And I'm sure your contribution in the area of mathematics is going to be immense. Once again, my heartiest congratulations to all of you for doing so well. You know, today's workshop was like I also got certain insights. You know, my answers were pretty much wrong. One of the mentors asked, "एक triangle के अंदर कितने triangles हैं?" You know, so I also answered 5, so it was 10, and I'm going to practice it now more and more. So I'm sure with these kind of buzzful exercises, you're going to actually the phobia is going to disappear from the mind of a child, and the child is going to start learning to enjoy mathematics. On this note, and with a promising note that we're going to introduce these activities in the class, my congratulations to the entire faculty who's done a wonderful job in delivering this workshop. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
ma'am. Thank
ma'am.
you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And my dear colleagues, you are
Thank you,
requested to
ma'am.
please participate in the quiz.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone.
There is a small quiz based on Kahoot.
Just
Everybody is
a little
requested to
quiz.
participate. Just 5 questions. That's all. Few seconds.
Hardly 1 minute more that we'll be taking.